You've never had a gourd before?
Never had a gourd before.
So today you're going to eat one. So if you pick that one there, and that's what we're gonna have for dinner.
Yummy.
So today we're joined by a very special guest. He's come up, well I say come up, but he's come down. He's travelled about 200 miles to get here. So let's introduce our very own Dean from Dean's Lost the Plot.
Hello.
And it looks like he's brought some goodies with him.
As I always do when I visit people that friendly faces. I've brought some goodies along with me today. I brought some giant onions.
Let's have a look at these onions.
Let's put these down actually. And we'll have a look and see what else I've got in here. So in the bag here, I'll give you that one.
No, that's an onion. Look at the size. Look at the size of that.
And there's an even bigger one.
Okay.
I just brought some smaller ones as well, so you can use them for eating. Are they getting heavy, Monty? Wait a minute.
I don't know what to do with these.
Yeah, you can juggle if you like. If you're going to juggle, it's fine.
Now there's some onions. I'll show you the biggest onion that I've grown.
Also, get me a giant cucumber as well. So there's another one. Got it. They're going to get heavy for you. Put the back down here.
Yeah, let's get those down.
Get them down because
down.
I know how heavy they can get.
Before I drop them, and then I ruin them properly.
So yeah, I've brought some giant onions. You can either
nearly drop that one.
That's fine. So you can either eat them or you can put them back for seed for yourself for next year.
So if I was going to put them back for seed, how would I put them back for seed?
So just like this one here,
yeah.
The blue peter moment. I've chopped them the roots right back.
Yeah.
In a 5 litre pot when the time comes.
Yeah.
About January time, I do believe. I'll have to have a look at my videos. Just place this into box down like compost. Once that's been done, and then once you've done that, it'll just start sprouting and growing again. So it'll just shout because it's going through its natural life cycle. So it's grown full term now. Then if you put it back in, it's going to go to seed.
Yeah.
So it'll pop up a few flower heads.
So am I just treating it like an onion set?
Like an onion set, yeah. Just do it in a pot so you can move it around because you want them like indoors out of the way.
Yeah.
And then you can put them outdoors when it's nice weather and things. So when it comes to the flowering cycle with the bees and things, you can put them next to where all your flowers and things are in the garden, and that'll help with the pollination of the seed, the flowers on the top. And then once that's been done, you take when the flowers have closed down.
Yeah.
What you do is you take it off, put in a paper bag, and just leave them for the seeds to come out.
So just for comparison, these two are my own onions, and these are the biggest onions that I've grown this year. And these are a lot smaller than his baby onions. But when you put that next to that one, look at that! Look at that! So happy onion man. I am. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm loving this.
So yeah, like I say, this normal standard cycle for the onions will take around between 10 to 12 months. Like I say, I've gotten you some seed, so I've brought some seed down so you can have a try next year, and we'll see how big you get with them.
So when he says he's brought me some seed, I'll show you what seeds he's brought. So he's brought me some giant marrows, some cobra gourds. I'm not sure what these are, but I'm definitely looking forward to them. Some giant onions, and these are the onions that he's saved himself. Some giant tomatoes, and
pumpkins.
Some giant pumpkins. So we'll see if I can fit these in. I'm sure I'll find some space to fit all these in. But I'm a happy boy, I'll tell you that now.
I've also brought you a couple of other things as well. So there's a couple of aloe vera there, which I've started from myself. So they've been there for a little while now.
From little pups?
Yeah, from the pups themselves. Just potted them on not long ago.
Nice one.
Good hole in there. There's a black Hamburg grape there. I did this as an experiment really, because I just took it off the side shoot of my new grapevine, and it rooted. So I've got another one of these at home, but I've already got 6 grapevines, so I don't need any more.
Right.
I've also got these as well. I don't know what colour these are going to be, but these are mini chrysanthemums. So these turn into a little bush,
Are they hardy?
Yes.
So I can plant them into the garden
Plant them
now?
in the garden now,
and
and then you can just leave them, they'll die back and come back again next year. Then when it comes next year, you'll be able to take cuttings yourself and then let them go.
Okay.
So you can get loads and loads.
Do you know when they die back? Do I cut them back to the ground, or how do I put
Just
them
leave
back?
them.
Okay.
Just leave them. I've left mine and I've got them come back year after year, so it's fine.
Okay.
And also a pretty geranium as well. So everything that I've brought, you can pretty much take cuttings for yourself as well.
Okay.
So that's the beauty of it all, because I'm a big believer of free plants. So anything that's free is fantastic for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't even mean to make that rhyme.
So on this nice wet day, I'm a very happy boy. These onions are beautiful. I'm looking forward to having a go growing these. So do you know how you're saying you trim it back? So do I literally just take the roots off here?
Take the roots off. So just trim about 1 inch.
Just take that.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I show these. Right, I plan on showing them. And what I would normally do is I would normally take a razor and chop it right back so it's flat.
Okay.
But that will then damage the root plate.
Okay.
So I've been told not to do it when I want to put them back for seed. So that's when I put them. I'll leave a little bit on there just so that new roots can develop. Because if you put this in a bit of water, the roots will come back just like anything else. Just even if you chop it at the bottom, put it in a bit of water, it will still come back. But it's always best to leave it on. Now, handy tip as well, when you do put it back, when you start seeing the skin starting to die back, just keep peeling them back. So
that's while it's in the ground?
While it's in the ground, keep peeling it back, because what you'll end up with is 3 flower spikes, or 2 flower spikes, or 1 flower spike. That's all you want. Because if you leave it too much, it can rot.
Right.
Because it's very moist inside there as well.
Right.
Even though it's starting to dry out. So, top tip for you.
So now with this one, shall I trim this one back as well?
Trim that one there. Yep.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yeah. And they'll just store like normal onions?
Store like normal onions. You can do them 6 to 12 months. I got married in 2017. I had pies, corned beef pie and things like that, with onions in them from the year before.
Wow.
So, because like I say, I stopped growing the smaller onions because I'm focusing on these.
Yeah.
There's no need for me to. It's different, do you?
See, the whole family's here.
Brought everybody down.
Yeah. so they're having a good time as well. And I'm having a good time with these plants.
But yeah, we'll see what happens next year. See if you can measure these and see if you can beat them next year. There's your target.
Right. Right. Okay. I'm on it. I'm definitely on it this year. So I'm definitely having a go. I've got my pots, so I'm definitely having a go. Yes. Yes.
I've started on the slippery slope.
So this is my chicken house. I mean, these are the last few hens that we've got. A couple of bantams, and they're leghorns, so they lay white eggs. Those red hens, they're hatched at home, so they're about 4 or 5 years old. The black bantams, they're a lot older. So is the bluebell, but some of them are getting. I mean, we've had a bit of a tragedy over the last month. One of our neighbour's dog got in and killed one of the chickens. Killed a couple of the chickens, and since then they've never been right. I mean, I've gotten them chicken vitamins and stuff like that, but they're just not perking up again. And since then we've had about 3-4 losses. So from 15 chickens we're down to about 6 or 7. So it's quite a big loss that we've had recently. It's something that's upsetting, especially my mum, because these chickens are really her pets more than anything else.
They're not even really pets. I've got 3 myself, and it's they start becoming members of the family. You look after them the same. You feed them, you water them, take care of them when they're ill.
The thing is, the way my mum looks after them, she's out here first thing in the morning. First thing she'll do is make sure that the chickens have got fresh food, fresh water. At night time, she's out here at sunset, making sure that they're tucked away inside.
It's a lot like what my granddad does with ours.
And the best thing about it is it keeps her active. It keeps her busy, keeps her doing stuff.
Definitely. But like I say, all this is recycled material as well, you were saying.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get into, and fresh eggs. You can't beat fresh eggs.
No, you can't. Absolutely spot on.
Where the chickens are, that's a little cottage garden. I love the cocoas here. I've got some myself in Ronnie's garden next door, and it's absolutely lovely. but I look forward to trying to incorporating something like that into my allotment, because you can just leave that and it just self-seeds and things as well, which is great. It's self-sufficient. Obviously you could need somewhere for the kids to play. Well, Monty as well, because he likes using the slide and swings.
Come on, I'll show you down. I'll show you down in the greenhouse and see what's down there. So I've got a gourd hanging out over there, outside, just in front of the chicken house. So there's a gourd going down from there.
It's one like the one we had for lunch today.
And we've got lots and lots of chilies and peppers and muki. You might know it as eddos or elephant ears or taro. Now this is a real staple in Indian diet. I mean, it grows like grass grows over here. People, just the way people don't take much notice of grass, people don't take much notice of this plant, but it's such an important plant, you know, because anyone can get access to it and eat it over in, you know, India, East Asia, Southeast Asia, that kind of area. But I'm lucky enough to have a couple of plants that have been brought over, and I'm growing them in pots. And the way these grow is they'll grow tubers, but they'll also send out shoots, and those shoots, we call them lota, and they make a really nice, if they're cooked with prawns, absolutely delicious. But I'm not looking at lota yet, but the whole plant's edible, so you can take these leaves and cook the leaves. You can take the tuber and cook the tuber, so that's quite nice as well.
And all this is just grown outside.
Yeah.
Up north in Leeds, not near the North Pole from where I'm from. But all this is just outside, so like I say, you don't even have to have a greenhouse or anything like that. Chilies, tomatoes, all sorts.
I've got my carrot wheelbarrow at the back. That's nearly all harvested and all finished. I need to get some more sown into that going into winter, and I need to get that done this month really before I run out of time. I've got some pelleted seeds for the first time actually that arrived yesterday, so I'll get those planted.
Let's head off into the greenhouse.
This is all a DIY job. Everything apart from the corner posts are recycled. So the corner posts and the plastic, the polycarbonate, that's bought, but everything else like this, it's all recycled. Timber that I've gathered from people who are doing extensions next door and stuff like that. I've just taken it out their skips. These doors, absolutely beautiful doors. I mean, we've done a bit of a bodge job on the painting, but they're really nice solid wood doors that someone was throwing out. So this is my hotbed, and this is the one that I set up last winter. And in this hotbed I've got aubergines growing. I've got a few types of aubergines. I've got cayenne peppers, chilies at the front, so quite a few different things going on in here. Dean, you were saying you've not had aubergines before.
I've never had aubergines before.
So let's see, this is a nice big one. There you go. Now there's an aubergine for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
You can go and do something with that.
We'll see what happens. Leslie, got an aubergine for you.
Back here we've got some bitter gourds.
They're exactly what they say on the tin, aren't they?
They're really bitter. I mean, if you haven't got, they're an acquired taste. So if you're not used to eating them, then you will find them very bitter. I mean, there's one there. They're also known as bitter melons. So there's one. It should get to about 6 inches when it's fully mature. But there are a few little ones dotted about. We picked the big ones up a few days ago and had them. But I don't grow many tomatoes inside because I find as long as you get them established indoors and then plant them outside, you don't need it unless you're trying to grow them late on into the season.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was the earliest tomato plant that I've got, and we've been picking off this tomato plant for the last few weeks now. So we're picking up fresh tomatoes every few days, and it's gone up and bent over. So I'm just going to leave it now.
There's 8 trusses on there. I just counted quickly there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 8 trusses on there. It's huge, that. Keeping the leaves off as well for ventilation.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I do is.
Always see the side shoots. You've got to get them. You see them, you get them.
Any sign of look like that tomato's starting to get a bit of damage. That's where it's been touching the glass or the edges, and that isn't blight. but it's been where it's been touching the glass and got damage from the condensation and stuff.
Yeah.
But this one, it's a volunteer tomato. It's grown volunteered out of my compost pile, and it's growing up. So it grew into a nice healthy plant. So I didn't want to take it out. I thought I'd leave it and let it do what it's doing. But while I'm here, I'm going to get rid of that side shoot.
That's kind of like what I did with my turnips.
I'll get rid of that one.
Little Kyle was doing some seeds, putting some seeds in, and he dropped some seeds on the floor, and I knew the difference between the weed and the seed, so I just let them go, and I had huge turnips. I wish I picked them up because they took over my cucumbers.
We've got African marigolds back here as companion plants. There's lots of basil planted. There's some basil planted back there, some basil underneath there. So there are my ginger plants there. There's a couple of young ginger plants. Turmeric down here as well. I've done some videos, quite a few videos on growing garlic. Quite a few videos on growing ginger and turmeric. So you can have a look at those and see what they're like. I mean, there's the jackfruit, the famous jackfruit from Gardener's World. So on the Gardener's World video, that's the jackfruit that I potted up. Here's a mango. Here's my little mango tree.
Oh.
So there's a little mango tree as well. I mean, I like playing with things, and I like trying to grow things that normally you'd find in, that are focused a lot in our cuisine. Yeah. So food that we like, that we in our culture. So I try to grow as many of those kind of varieties that I can. So behind me here, I've got lots and lots of more gourds, and this is actually the gourd, the giant gourd that you gave me. So
that one
you gave me. This
one.
Right,
let's have a look at them.
This one here. I mean, it's got loads and loads of flowers. There's a fruit set actually over here, so I'll show you that. So there's one that looks like it might make it. If we get some decent weather, then hopefully that'll go into one of your. I'll do you proud.
That was the seed that I sent down, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Out of the pack that I got. So that's the plant there, growing in tyres. With some African marigolds.
So I'm moving away from growing in tyres. I mean, there's a lot of controversy about them. Some are against them from being toxic. There's a lot of conflicting information as well. But I am moving away from them. I used to grow potatoes in them. I've stopped growing root crops in them. I'm going for fruit and vegetables this year, and then hopefully next year, once I've built the new hotbed here, then I'll get away from these tyres as well completely. So back here I've got Asian mustard, some more climbing beans, a choo-choo over there as well.
So with the mustard, do you get the seed? Is it the seed that you get from it, or is it just the plant as well?
So we grow the mustard for the leaves, so we eat these leaves in a salad. So if you cook them, we make something with fish. So if you fry the fish, and then once the fish has cooled down, you take a couple of onions, dice them up really small, take these mustard leaves. Oh, spot on! Absolutely delicious! Absolutely delicious. You know me and my food, everyone. Everyone, you know me and my food. So down here we've got lots of tomatoes, a few different types of tomatoes over here. You can see some ripening back of that corner. But we picked a load earlier for our salad, didn't we?
You did. It was lovely, lovely and fresh. Everything was straight from the back garden here, straight on the table.
More tomatoes, sweet corn, some volunteer potatoes in the middle of that sweet corn bed. You've seen my onions, my attempts at growing big onions. I mean, they were grown. There's a video coming out on them, but as wide as that fork is, so about a foot length. And what, 8 foot, 10 foot?
Yeah.
So we got like a bucket full of onions just from that sort of strip, and it was those onions that I showed you, those big ones. So this bed is where I grew garlic in. That bed over there is where I grew onions from sets, and over here as well I've got white rot. So what I'm doing with the onion leaves is I'm composting these separately, just like you'd make leaf mould.
Right.
And then once this is rotten down a little bit, I'm going to dig it into the soil. And what that'll hopefully do is fool the fungal spores to, go out and try and attack that instead, and they'll burn themselves out.
That's new.
So, I mean, what I've done with that bed is I've tried it with garlic juice. Right. So, blitzed up some garlic, mixed it up in about 10 litres of water, and sprayed the whole bed. What I'm going to do with that bed is I'm going to use garlic powder, and with this bed I'm going to use the garlic compost.
Oh, that'd be interesting. See how things go with that.
See how it goes.
Because I was saying just earlier on there, the only thing that I've done differently with me, because I've got white rod on my giant onions, nearly all of them last year. That's how I didn't manage to save any. So I had to use the seed from the year before. I've grown mine in pots. Okay. So I've taken, because I know that I can grow a good size onion for exhibition, not for heavyweight, but for quality, in a 10 litre pot.
Okay.
So I did it the year before. Got 19 inches, 20 inches. So that's a kind of size for the circumference that you're after. As long as they're uniform as well.
Yeah.
So I know I can do it in 10 litre buckets. So what I did is, to counteract the white rod in the bed, is I cut the bottoms off the pots and just grew them in the 10 litre bucket. And then when the roots took over the bucket, put them on top of the soil. Then it was planted into the bed. And this year, I've had one onion with white rod on, so keeping the top base of the onion away from the contaminated soil has worked. Although it does mean that I've got to keep on buying compost in for the 10 litre buckets. But if you make your own, or I don't mind. This is my hobby.
Yeah.
I don't mind putting a bit of money into it. So it's,
I do.
Well, here you go.
I want everything for free.
That's it. I don't mind that as well. But when it comes to certain things, I've already tried it, and I was like, no, I would have put it into there.
So back here, I've got some more pumpkins. Like some sweet corn, runner beans at the back. I mean, I've had onions planted in with my runner beans. Now, a lot of people will tell you don't plant runner beans and onions together because they're not good companion plants. It's a myth. Think about it. When you plant onions, you're giving them lots and lots of feed, right? You're giving them manure, you're giving them fertilizers, you're giving them something to get the plant going. Now, the reason that people who talk about companion planting say that you can't grow onions and beans together is because the beans fix nitrogen to the soil, and the onion doesn't need a lot of feed, is what they'll tell you.
Onions like nitrogen?
Yeah, exactly. Onions like nitrogen.
The first thing I've just clicked when you told us that there, when you're saying that there.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It puts on a lot of top growth.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that they'll tell you, is that the nitrogen will make it put on a lot of top growth, but it won't put on any bottom growth. But I had some really good. I've always grown onions amongst every one of my plants. If you look around my garden, you'll see random onions everywhere, because I take advantage of using smelly plants to detract from pests.
It's the best way to do it. It is the best way, like you say, with the marigolds and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, I've had broad beans growing out here. So with broad beans, you get a lot of black fly infesting them, yeah? But because I had onions planted amongst my broad beans, I didn't get any black fly infestations this year. So
it does work.
It works. It really does work.
It does work. Like you say, with the carrots and onions as well. So obviously the onions deter the carrot fly, which is commonly known knowledge, and it does work.
Yeah, it really does work.
But I see this is the bottom of the garden, isn't it? It's still going. We're still going.
So I've got some hyacinth beans planted back here.
Yeah, that's quite strange. I've never seen that before. There's just one bean in there.
You don't grow them for the beans, you grow them for the pots.
So the pods themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So you pick them early on, instead of being later on.
So that's a good size to pick them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not that too developed.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you the size of my runner bean when we're finished, because it's huge.
I've got more gourds back here, so there's some gourds in these bags here.
So this is something different. This is something obviously I don't grow, because I grow for show and giant now. I grow for the table more than anything. I've got two allotments. My granddad's got a half allotment 2 doors down, and he grows for our table. So he grows the potatoes, the turnips, just a standard general veg, and he's just slowly starting to get into growing giant onions and leeks as well, because he wants to try and beat us. He's never been able to beat us yet. So I have to say, he'll keep on trying. But yeah, this is something that I don't grow, but it is something very interesting, and these things are huge.
So this year they've not been very good. I mean, I've grown bigger, but these are a couple of the gourds that are on the vines. You picked one earlier, which is what we had for lunch.
They're kind of weighty, them.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest one this year.
This is the biggest one. You were saying as well with the plastic bag around. There's a method in the madness. It was
Yeah,
for to keep the heat, wasn't it?
the bag really helps keep that heat in, and because these are tropical plants, it keeps that heat in, it keeps them growing and keeps them producing, so it's a really handy little trick. I mean, I've done a video on it, so if you want to have a look at that, then you can do. Here's something for you. This is why I'm carrying these scissors around with me. That's for you. It's a courgette.
That's a courgette. That's a funny shaped courgette.
So this year, I've not grown many of the traditional shaped long courgettes.
All right.
But what I've done is I've grown a lot of these round courgettes. So these are courgette tondo. They're not anywhere near as prolific as the long courgettes, but they are quite nice courgettes actually.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So you snip that off, and you can take that with you to match your aubergine.
Excellent. There you go. I'm sure Leslie gets some tips for cooking that.
Yeah.
It kind of matches me, doesn't it?
So they're not really prolific like the other ones. So if you were looking for a variety that's a bit more laid back, this is the one.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't let them get that big. I'd take them a little bit smaller, but I was saving that one for you.
Oh well, thank you very much. I'm going home with goodies as well. I love it. I love it. It's great.
So look, you can see my tomatoes back there as well from this side a bit there.
Yeah. Are they the plum? Some of them are plum tomatoes.
So I've got some San Manzano, and some of those round tomatoes have just grown from a supermarket variety. So from a supermarket tomato, I saved the seeds and grew the plants.
That's another great tip as well, because you see you can still grow like peppers and stuff like that as well.
For free.
Free.
Back here I've got my pumpkin patch. There's a couple of pumpkins that have set. So, I mean, surprisingly, they're all from the same seed, but some are yellow, some are green and yellow, some are just green.
You might find that some of them are cross-contaminated.
Cross-pollinated,
yeah, with the marrows and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
That's quite a common question I get asked as well. Is like, I've got a green pumpkin. Well, that could be because either it's too early or it's been cross-contaminated.
These were supposed to be green, so these were supposed to grow with a green, thick skin.
Thick skull. They've got brains inside as well, have they? The professionalism here is great, isn't it?
See, I'm not growing giants, but there's my biggest tomato so far. It's not massive, but it's all right for me. So over here, I've pulled loads of onions out of here, and I've replaced them with cabbages and kohlrabi. So they're going in, and hopefully they'll go into overwinter then, and give us some in early spring. So this is my potato bed, and I grow my potatoes in wood chips. So the way I do it is I put down a layer of compost, and then stack about a foot and a half of wood chips, and plant my potato into there. And then as the plants are coming up, I'll mulch with grass clippings and other greeny material, and that'll feed the potato plant. If you want to see what I'm talking about, the results I get. Last year I got potatoes that were that sort of size. Absolutely
clean as well.
Really clean. Because once these potato plants start dying back towards the end of September, once we get a couple of dry days, that's when I'll harvest them.
Right.
And they're not covered in mud. They're nice and clean. I'll pull them all up at once, or as and when we're pulling potatoes as we're going at the moment as well.
That's the best way to do it. If you pull them all up and if you wash them, that's probably one of the bigger worst things you can do. I like to leave mine in the ground, just chop the tops off. I'll be doing this with my grandfather as well, as I was saying before. We're ready to be, because our potatoes are like this at the moment, so we'll be getting ready to chop the tops and leave them in, take them as we go.
I've got a couple of pears on the end and a couple of apples in the middle, and then underneath it it's just loads and loads of raspberries, red currants.
That's cool.
There's a gooseberry at the back. So in the same space you can have lots and lots of different things growing and fruiting at different times. Underneath the raspberries I had strawberries. So the strawberries are fruit, they finish fruiting. Yeah.
You're not lying. You're telling the truth.
So they finish fruiting, and then the raspberries take over, and then as soon as the raspberries and apples, we'll get apples. So there's a nice big one up there. Around here, this is my famous composting area. This is where I make all my own compost. I've got a big pile of wood chips for next year's potatoes. I've got a load of more fresh leaves and wood chips, hedge clippings, stuff that I'm rotting down separately. Back here, I mean, I did a composting video about 6-8 weeks ago on that pallet, on that bin. I've harvested that lot. Yeah, I've harvested that lot and we're starting again. And I've got this bin here that's cooking away. I'll show you what my finished compost looks like, Dean. So there's my finished compost.
Excellent.
So, it's not bad stuff.
Yeah, it's alright. It does the job.
It's what's feeding this garden and it's what I'm planting in. And there's my IVC massive worm bin. So that's separate compost. You see, these are all grown in wood chips as well. So they're no dig beds, just wood chips and compost piled on top of some cardboard, and that's it. The strawberry plants have really taken off. What I've got here is my plum tree, and my plum tree didn't produce many fruits this year. So instead of letting the space go to waste, I've planted a pointed gourd that's climbing up the plum tree, and I'm just using the plum tree as a frame for my pointed gourds. So there's my pointed gourd vine there. It's just climbing up the plum tree all the way up to the top. You can see a pointed gourd at the top there.
It's right at the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right at the top.
So I'm picking some pointed gourds instead of plums.
Was that the size they get when you pick
That's as
them?
big as they get, yeah.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. Back here we've got all my raspberries and stuff as well. There's another pointed gourd vine going up the top here.
Yeah, so fruit, they must be late. Autumn ones, aren't they?
Yeah, these are autumn raspberries, so they're just start coming into fruit now.
Yeah.
So have a taste of that, see what it's like.
It's a big one,
There's some of these that produce some really big fruit. Quite impressed. And that's pretty much it. So not much else to see.
Not much else. I'm shattered, me. I'm gonna have to sit. Yeah, you sit on that seat. I'm gonna have to sit down.
Have you enjoyed yourself down here today?
It's been fantastic. I'm pleased I came down. Like I say, it's just what we needed to get out. Unfortunately, we're not being able to get away anyway. But just 2 hours down the road. It's been fantastic. Fantastic hospitality. Lovely meeting the rest of the family as well. I know we've met last year. It was nice to meet your mum and everything that as well. And like I say, the food's been lovely. The kids have tried something new. Elizabeth's eyes have just been opened up wide. It's been great. She's been asking loads of questions and things like probably getting into everything.
She's taking pictures of everything as well.
She wants to stay. She's already told us she wants to stay. So, well, it looks like we'll be swapping. Doing a child swap.
Oh, it's been a pleasure having you. Honestly, it has. I've really enjoyed it.
It's nice. Like I say, it's nice to visit other people. It's nice to see what their garden is, because it is totally different on videos. You don't get to see the size of things. The size of this place is huge. I'm proper envious. I am. I would love to just be able to come up my back door and it's there, ready to go.
For me, because of the way my life is, I work and I teach in the evenings. If I didn't have it in my back garden, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Do you know, if I had to physically go for, and because of the way how lazy I am as well, I'll be honest, I don't like travelling from my little castle.
Yeah.
I don't like, when I'm home I want to be home. So if I'm doing my work in the garden, I can have the kids running around and we can be back, seeing them as well while I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So if I had to go to an allotment, I won't see them.
Yeah, well that's sometimes a benefit. I mean, mine's not that far away. It's only about 5 minutes. It's only a couple of minutes drive. 5 minute cycle through cuts, so it's not too bad. But I get the benefit of seeing my grandfather, especially over the course of this lockdown as well, where you've not been able to see family members and things like that. Me just seeing him over the fence and him doing vice versa, it's been fantastic. And they say just pieces of land. It's been great just having it through the past few months. And I say putting food on the table. The majority of the food that we've had today has been direct from the back garden.
I mean, we picked the tomatoes, we picked the gourd. You picked the gourd.
I picked the gourd.
What did you think of the gourd?
I think the gourd was nice. Like you say, it's always never had it before, so it's always nice to try something new, as I keep telling the kids. So it was very nice. It was well cooked as well. So thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you today. I've really enjoyed it. Nice of you to bring your family down. Kids have been playing all day.
They have,
it's been beautiful. So there we go, a nice visit from Dean's Lost a Plot and family.
Yeah, thank you very much once again for having me all, and hopefully when the time comes you come back up our way, I can show you around our little patch as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I'll leave it there for this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.